Hi guys, hope everyone is doing fine. So this is our fourth session in this course. So the previous three sessions has been covered with Linux commands and Linux basics, whatever we need not to get into DevOps, what we generally use in in real-time scenarios. So if someone is new to Linux, please go and watch the videos. And if someone who has started this at this course at this moment, they can also refer it. And who have fair idea on Linux, they can absolutely start from here. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about version controlling. What is that? Version controlling. Oh, what is mean by version controlling? What is mean by version controlling? See, let's say we got a project. And I'm working on one project. Okay, I'm working on one project. So first day I came to office, I've written some code which is having A B C D. So the data will be A B C D. So I felt this is the proper code, so I just made it as version 1. Second day I came to office again. I just started like code like something like C D E F. Okay, so I felt this is a proper continuation to first like version 1, so I've just kept it as version 2. So third day I came to office again, I written something, and fourth day I came to office, again I've written something. Fifth day I came to office and I realized the code what I've written on second day was proper one. The code, whatever the code I had at second day was proper one, and this is absolutely no need for our project required. This is not required for our project. So here you can directly switch to version 2 and you can start working from here. So here what you are doing, you are managing the versions. The first day you have given it as version 1, second day the application was at version 2, third day it was version 3, fourth day it was version 4. Okay, if it is fine at version 4, you would have go through this version 4 only as final output. I mean final validated data. But at that moment you felt V2 was proper one, so you can go to version. So in this process, all I want to say is here the version controlling is the most important thing, because the code has to be tracked at any moment. Then only you can go through the exact requirement. Because let's say if you don't have this version and version 1 and version 2, let's say you didn't consider it as version, you just return some data and you keep on appending every day, you keep on appending something every day, you keep on appending every day. So after 1 week when you are testing it, you felt there was some issue with code, it's not at your requirement, and you felt yes, the second day code was right, because at that moment what I've executed, it was proper. So the third day, fourth day code has created some disturbance in the code, but you can't easily revert that until unless you have version controlling. So if you have versions, let's say you are having a version control system and it is version 2, so then you can switch to version 2 and you can start work from here, you can start improve from here. Hope you understood. Okay, so this is version controlling. So version controlling is nothing but controlling the versions for the better build, or we can say better program. Okay, see, let's say so this is simply about version controlling. Okay, so how version control works, how it works actually. See, let's say in your project developer 1, okay, is developer 2 and developer 3, or 2 are enough, developer 1 and developer 2. Okay, so these two are working on project called, let's say ABCD bank. Let's say they are working on ABCD bank. Okay, so developer A and developer B, they got their they came across the requirement and they're working on that. Is developer A, and he is developer B. Okay, so for the requirement he has written some 10 programs, and the requirement, he has written some 5 programs. Okay, so he has written 5 programs. B has written 5, sorry, A has written 10 programs, B has written 5 programs. So once they have, they were sure like this is the code, then what they will do, they will put into this, this is repository. What is this? Repository. We can say remote repository. Remote repository for this ABCD bank. This is called remote repository for this ABCD bank. Sorry. Okay, so this is remote repository for this ABCD bank. So on 5th day or 6th day somewhere, when they're done with their programming everything, what they will do, they will push this code to, what they will do, they will push this code to remote repository. What is the use of this remote repository? What is this? What is the use of this remote repository? See, now A is having 10 programs with him, B is having 5 programs with him, but what they are doing, both are working on same project. So he should aware what B is writing. B should aware what A is writing. So on next day, like once they've pushed the code into remote repository, from the next moment they will be having access to this remote repository, and A can fetch this. A can fetch this code from remote repository to his machine. At the same time, B also can fetch the code from remote repository to his machine. So here he will be having entire 15 programs. A will be having 15 programs. Why? A has uploaded 10 to remote repository, B has uploaded 5 to remote repository. So at remote repository, how many programs we are having? We are having 15 programs. So when they pull the code from remote repository, A will be having 15 and B will be having 15. So let's say on second week some new guy has joined. Here. He is not aware of what A has done, what B has done till that moment. So he can't start from the beginning, right? He has to continue from where it left. So what he will do, he will simply connect to this one remote repository and he'll fetch that code. I mean, he'll just get the code from the remote repository. So he will be having total 15 codes on his laptop, 15 programs on his laptop, so that he can continue from here itself. I hope you understand what is the use of having the version control in remote repositories. Okay, so this is simply about version controlling and remote repositories. See, here we are having two kinds of remote repositories. Here we are having two kinds of remote repositories. Here we are having two kinds of version controlling system. Okay, two kinds of version controlling system. One is centralized, one is distributed. One is centralized, one is distributed. Let's see what is centralized and what is distributed. Just let us get some centralized version control system. Yes, sorry. Okay, take this one. Okay, and let us snip it. So you could say this is the example of centralized version control system. Okay, so example for centralized version control system is SVN. Okay. Okay, so now let us see this architecture. What you could see workstation as one area, you could see workstation as one area, you could see main server as one more area. In workstation you are having working copy at 3 points, and in main server you are having one repository. What all this? So in working station, whatever working copy you are seeing, let's say you can simply assume as developer 1 local machine. This is second developer's local machine. This is third developer's local machine. So 3 developers are working for one ultimate goal. Let's say they are working on, let's say one ABCD bank repository as we see in last example. So they are working for one feature. So these 3 working for common goal. But we are not sure that all these executes same program. See, 3 people are working, they may write different programs. So what they will do, whatever developer has written, whatever developer 2 has written, whatever developer 3 has written, they will commit the code to repository. Means they will send it the code once they are sure their version is proper. So here the version control happens. What happens? Whatever the code has sent by these 3 developers will be combined here. Will be combined here for the as per the project requirement. Then the version control will happen here. Hope you understood. See, developer 1 has written some 2 programs for the project. Developer 2 has written some 3 programs. Developer 3 has written some 1 program. So once they are done with the work, they will commit the code to repository. So here the combining the code will be happened. Okay, so that we can see the version control happens at this moment. So at that moment, the exact version what we supposed to deploy an application server will be ready. Okay, so coming to the points, here you could see workstation and main server. So here you can see only 2 layers, means working station and main server. So whatever developers are doing the work on their local machine will be considered as workstation, and once they're done, they are committing the code to a remote repository, let's say a remote server, that is being considered as repository at main server. And here at this stage only version control is happening in central version control system. Okay, now let us see distributed version control system. What is distribution version control system? See, it is distributed. Okay, let us take this. Okay, see, here you could see working copy as level 1, repository as level 2, and one more repository at level 3. Okay, so what does it mean? As you know, working copy is from developer's local machine, and what these two? There we are having in centralized only working copy and repository. Here we will be having working copy, repository, and one more repository top of all this. And if you observe in centralized, we have repository, one repository common for all team members. But here we are having repository for every individual. Every individual. So once done with this, we are pushing the code to one more common repository. So you could say, see, now this is developer 1's machine, this is developer's second developer machine, this one is third developer machine. Okay, so once sorry, there was some disturbance. So what we have seen, see here we are having stages like working copy, repository, and server repository. So working copy, as I said, this is developer's 1 machine, this is developer's 2's machine, this is developer 3's machine, and every developer is having their own repository. Every developer is having their own repository. So once developer is done with his work, what he is doing, he is committing the code to local repository. Okay, so once developer 2 complete his work, what he is doing, he is committing his code to his local repository. So same in case of third developer as well. So once they commit the code at local repository, what we can say, the level 1 version control is being done here. Because see, now he will write some 10 programs, he will write some 5 programs. Okay, he will write some 10 programs, let's say. What they commit into local repository, so from this, whatever the developer feels the code as valid, he will commit that code to his local repository. Here also, whatever developer 2, what he has written 5 codes, so from that, whatever he feels the proper one, that one only will be committed to his local repository. Okay, so we can see the first stage of version control is happening at individual stage only, so at every developer's local machine. Okay, so now here we are having one code, here we will be having one code, and here we will be having one code. So from here, the ultimate code will be pushed to remote repository. So we can say at this moment one more version control is happening, that is happening at entire team level. See, if you observe in first case, what we have seen, whatever the developer has written, that has been directly committed to remote repository in centralized version control system. Okay, so the version control, where it is happening, it is directly happening at the repository level. Correct. So, but what is in distribution control version control system? Here first developer is writing some code, so that so he is writing some code, and whatever he feels that he is pushing to his local repository. From local repository he is pushing the code to remote repository. So we can say here the version control is happening at two levels, and the ultimate version control will be very ideal. No, the data will be very validated compared to centralized version control. Hope you understood this. So example for this one is Git. Example for this is Git. Okay, so we can see how Git works in real time. So this is the basic introduction about version controlling. If let me take a simple example for the same by giving. So it will be having like, see, let's say, so developer 1, developer 2. So developer writing his code here. See, let's just take it as remote repository. What happened? Remote repository. Here the code is being written here. Code has been written, and here code has been written. So what we have discussed, once code has written, that will be moved to remote repository where it is existing the local repository, sorry, not remote, local repository. So whatever the code has written by developer 1, this is local repository, and this one also local repository. Okay, so what he is doing, this one is developer 1. So developer 1 has written some code. So once he is done with his code, what he is doing, he is just committing the code to local repository. Once B has done with his code, even he is committing his code with the local repository. So from this local repository, latter point, they are pushing this code to remote repository. So this is the first level of version controlling. This is the first level of version controlling, and this one is second level. Sorry, this is first level of version controlling, and this one is second level of version controlling. Hope you understand. So first level of version controlling is happening at developer machine. Second level of version control is happening at team level. Okay, so hope you understood. Okay, so when it comes to Git, we have to discuss about 3 points. One is working area, staging area, and okay, sorry guys, there was some disturbance, so I just passed it. Okay, see, in Git we have to look into these areas. So this is developers local machine, this is developers local machine, and this one is remote repository. So where we are going to have the ultimate code, this is remote repo. So how it process, how it generally process. See, this is working area. Working area is nothing but the very first stage of your code, where developer actually develops the code. Because see, now you got some ABCD project. So what you will do, you just in your local, you will just create a directory called ABCD. So under that you will be writing the codes. Under that you will be having a.python script or b.python or something like that. So you will be having files, you will be developing the files, and you will be having the initial stage of files in working area. So the files which are located under working area will be called as untracked or modified files. Okay, so once we are done with the coding, what we will do, we will just add it to the staging area. What we'll do, we'll just add this code to the staging area. Okay, so we will just add this to the staging area. So whatever the files located under staging area, means at that status, see, the same file, there is no difference in the file. You have written some ABCD code that you just added to the staging area. Code will be same, there is no issue with the code, there is no change in the code. So but the file, whenever it locates in staging area, will be called as staging file, or we can say index files. Okay, So whatever the files is located under the staging will be called as staging files, staged files, or index files, and this area can be also called as index area. Okay, so once files added here, what you will do, you will just switch this code to local repository. Means you are going to do the commit here. You have seen, right, here you have seen commit. See this commit. So from working, what you are doing, commit. That commit is moving the code from your local to from the staging to local repository. So here you will be doing commit to move the files from staging to local repository. So once done with the local repository, what you are doing from local repository to remote repository, you are pushing it. So code whatever you done with local repository, that code will be moved to remote repository using the utility git push. Okay, so now the points you have to know is we have completely 4 points. One is working area, one is staging area, third one is local repository, fourth one is remote repository. Working area is a place where you actually started developing your work. So files here will be called as untracked or modified files. Staging area is nothing but second stage. We can say it's a buffer zone. It's not physically existing. But only thing is, as you are performing some git based commands, the file status will be changed. So you are just adding it. So here you are adding. So you are here using git add command. So git add means it will move the file from working area to staging area. So once the file is moved to, if the file moved to staging area, then that file will be called as index file or staged file. So from stage to local repository, you have to use git commit. So once you commit the code, it will be moved to local repository, and the files here will be called as committed files. Okay, so once you have the committed files here, so the versions, you just done version controlling level 1, and you have to just place this to remote repository. So for that you are using git push. Git push. Okay, this diagram can give you an exact overview. Okay, so this is how git works, and these are the 4 points you should understand what all these working areas, because these are going to be very crucial, and we can say that these are very basics, so that it is very crucial. Okay, so and one more thing is these three are going to be exist on your local, and this is going to be a team level. So in the same way, developer 2 also I will be having same thing. So let's say this is developer 2. Let's say this is developer 2 machine. So he will be having the same process, and he will be so same process in the sense developer 2 is having his own individual working area, own individual staging area, own individual local repository, but he will be not having individual remote repository. He has to push this code to the common repository. Okay, so in some cases you can go into situation like having multiple remote repositories. You will be having, you have to get into situation like where you can have multiple remote repositories. Let's say this is this is one team, and this one is one more team. This is one team, and this one is one more team. Okay, so this team is working on, for ABCD Bank, this team is working on credit card department. Means these people are developing the code for credit card features, and these people are developing the code for debit card. Let's say, so we will be having lot of features, right, for credit card and debit card. So this team is working on credit card feature, this team is working on debit card features. Okay, so for this credit card feature, developer 1 and developer 2 are working. For this, developer 3 and developer 4 is working. So again, in this level, the architecture will be same what we have discussed previously. So the developer will be having his own working directory, staging area, and local repository, same with the 4 developers. Okay, but if they move this credit card code and debit card code to remote repository, that won't make a proper application, because let's say SBI Bank is there, it won't maintain two application. That is not good idea, right? That is not good idea to have separate application for every feature. So what they will do, this team, what they will do, they will be having their team based local repository, and debit card also they will be having their team based local repository. So what they will do, they will just move this code from their local to, means developer 1 and developer 2 will move the code to repository. This is for only credit card repository. This is only for credit card repository. This is for debit card repository. So once done with credit card and debit card repository, from here you will be having one common remote repository for entire project for, let's say, ABCD Bank. So from at this level, now this code will be moved to ABCD Bank, and this code again will be moved to ABCD Bank. So the ultimate version is going to available at this repository. Okay, the ultimate version is going to available at this repository, not at this level. What you are doing at this level, the ultimate version is available for only credit card feature. Okay, at this level the ultimate thing is the ultimate code is available only for debit card. But if you want to access ABCD code, so you have to push these two codes to remote repository, which is being accessed by entire team, entire project. So if new developer has joined, so now he can get this code from ABCD repository, remote repository, so that he will be having both credit card and debit card details, code details. Let's say one guy D5 is joining in debit card in credit card department. What he will do, he no need to go here. If he needed, he can go, or else there is no need, because he is working on credit card features only. So direct he can get that code from this repository only. So hope you understood this concept. This is very clear. Hope I explained very clear. So this is introduction about Git. Okay, so today what I'm going to tell is to just have whatever the requirement for, what are the things required to perform this Git activities. Okay, one is you should have Git Bash. Git Bash is nothing but a platform where you can write all your code and do the commits, push stuff, pull stuff, whatever. So here you can see just based on your OS, you can just download the software. See, in my case I've just already downloaded and installed Git Bash. You can see here. So let's just please download this one and just install it. You know how to install in Windows, right? It's not a typical one. Just next. That's it. Okay, so download this one. If you are in Windows, if it is Linux, you can simply have some commands, install Git in that way. But ideally, what I suggest, go with Windows. Okay, it will be useful to you. And one more point is, you have to create an account under GitHub. Okay, see, you could see GitHub here. It's a basic account creation, just like your WhatsApp, just like your Facebook or something. Okay, just create one repo here. Okay, just create one repo here. So that will be helpful. See, what is that repository? That is the point where you are going to push the code. See this one. Sorry. See this point. Repository you are seeing, right? That ultimate repository. So you are going to push the code here, and if new one joins, they are going to get the code from there. So it's not individual level, it's about team level. But still, let us have everyone have their own thing, so that it will be useful. Okay guys, get ready with these two. In next session we will start Git commands. Hope everyone understood it. So still, if there is any suggestion to improvise the subject, this content, please comment me, or please just mention, you can mail me it also. Okay guys, get ready with this. So from the next session we'll start how to utilize Git commands. Okay guys, thank you all, stay safe.